Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for stopping by. Today, it is Wednesday, the 9th of December. It's around 2:15 in the afternoon and this video is going to be one of my memories of Blackpool videos, growing up in Blackpool. Now my last couple of videos like that, people have liked them, at least people have commented that they liked them. They were about more general things like, oh, do you remember that when you were smaller? Do you remember that when you were smaller? I was talking about childhood games and TV adverts and so on and so forth. But for this video, I thought it'd be a bit of a change and hopefully you'll like it. I'd tell you about one of my childhood memories specific to me and growing up in Blackpool. And this is the story of how I got my ears pierced. Now, when I was a little kid at school, it was coming up to my 7th birthday and I was really excited because, as every 6-year-old knows, once you get to the age 7, you're not a little kid anymore, you're a big kid. And there was a couple of kids in my class at school that had their ears pierced, and they had those teeny little gold hoops. We called them sleepers back then, but they were hoops, but they were teeny tiny hoops. They weren't like big dangly hoops. They were so small and I wanted some of those hoops so badly. And I asked my mum, can I get my ears pierced for my birthday? And it was an outright no. She was like, if God would have meant us to wear those earrings, you'd have been born with holes in your ears. And my mum wasn't actually remotely religious, but she said no. But me being a kid, I continued asking and pestering and pestering and asking, and eventually I wore her down and she said, well, maybe if we can find a good place that we can get them done and if I can afford it. And back then the only places where you could get your ears pierced were like some hair salons, bizarrely. There was a couple of hairdressers that would pierce people's ears for them, but there weren't really specifically any places that would be just for piercings, at least none that I knew of. So whilst I was slightly hopeful, I wasn't super hopeful. And then one day when I was on my way home from town with my mum, we were walking past Lewis's, and we all remember Lewis's, that marvellous massive big 4-storey department store that sat on our beautiful promenade right next to the tower with its iconic blue honeycomb frontage. Well, Lewis's had a display in one of the windows, and on this display there was a seat and a little counter and a little like table with all these little different pairs of earrings on, and the sign was the important bit, because the sign said painless ear piercing is coming to Lewis's in Blackpool or something like that. And on the table there are all these little pairs of studs. So on the way home from town we dropped into my nan's, because my nana had a cafe on Central Drive, just where Harry Johnson's paper shop used to be, close to that, about 4 doors down. So anyhow, we went in to my nan's cafe and I was in full on excited kid pester mode. We found somewhere, I can get my ears pierced. You said, remember, you said. So my mum, she was like, it's really expensive, and to be fair it was. It was £7.95, and I'm not going to say exactly how old I am, but that was a massive amount to spend on a little kid's birthday present back then. Most of the hair salons charged like £1.99 or something like that. But anyhow, my mum was just like, I can't afford it. So my nan, she said, I'll take her down and get them done. You know, she wants them doing, she's really asked for them, and she's big enough to look after them. So I'll take her down to get them done, but the compromise was my mum and my nan didn't want me to have the little silver ring sleepers. They wanted me to have the studs. So that was a very easy compromise. I was just like, yeah, I'll have the studs. And they were great because they came in all these little different colours. So I chose a beautiful little blue pair, and when the morning came of my birthday, it was the first day this ear piercing was starting. In fact, to be honest, I can't actually remember if it was my actual birthday, but we did go down on the first day the store was starting the ear piercing, and we'd gone down super duper early and we had to wait for the shop to open, and we were at the very front. So the shop opened and I was at the front of the queue, and I marched very happily and excitedly and close to this woman, and this kind lady lifted me up and she sat me on the seat. And let me remind you folks that this sign said painless ear piercing, and this lady said something to me: you won't feel a thing, it'll be over in a second. Now, I've had my ears pierced, I've got 4 piercings in each ear now, and it doesn't really hurt, but you do feel it when that gun goes off. You definitely feel it. Now, if she would have said to me, you'll hear the noise, it'll sound a bit loud, you will feel a sharp pain, so take a big deep breath in, breathe out when I'm going to fire the gun. It'll hurt, but it'll be over in a second. It'll only last for a second, then you'll have your beautiful earrings. I probably would have been okay, but this lady with a lovely smile said to me, oh, aren't you a lovely little girl, and it's your birthday and these earrings will be beautiful and you will not feel a thing. So she put this gun to my ear and she fired it off, and little me, who admittedly had the world's lowest pain threshold, I was a really soft, sappy kid, I let out the most loudest, piercing, horrified, shocked scream you could ever imagine. It was like 50s horror movie worthy. I was just loud, and to make it worse, there was about 30 people in the queue waiting and watching to get their ears pierced, and I was just all in shock pain. My hand went up to my ear, my other hand went up to my other ear because she definitely wasn't going to touch that other ear, and I was like just shocked and crying. I was going, ow, 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 it hurt. And I heard a lady in the queue and she went, that isn't painless ear piercing, that child's screaming in agony. And a couple of parents who were waiting with their kids cleared off really quickly. They were like, that's not painless ear piercing, look at that poor child, she's screaming. And then my nan was like, come on, you've got to get the other one done now. And I was like, no, just shocked and screaming and tired. And my nan was like, don't be ridiculous, I've already paid. You've whined and pestered for these for years. Let her do the other one now. And I was like, no, but eventually I had to let her because my nan was pretty mad at me. Not in a nasty way, but she was like, just let her do it, it'll be over in a second. And to be fair, the second one wasn't as bad as the first one because I gritted my teeth and I knew what to expect. So eventually I got the second one done, but when we looked up, the so-called kind lady that had done them, I just remember she was looking absolute daggers at me and my nan, and there was about 3 people left in the queue, where previously there'd have been about 30 people in it. Everybody had just walked away, and my nan was like, that's your fault, that. If you hadn't have screamed, they'd all be getting their ears pierced. But they should have told me. They should have said, like, yeah, it's going to hurt, just prepare yourself. And then at least I would have been prepared and I wouldn't have been so shocked. So anyway, after they'd done both of my earrings, it was stinging, like they do when you first get them done, they sting for a bit. So I had both my hands over my ears and I was like whiny and blubbering down Bank Hay Street and Central Drive, like sniff, sniff, whine, moan. And by the time we got back onto Central Drive proper and crossed Chapel Street and got into my nan's cafe, I was all, woohoo, look at my new earrings, aren't they beautiful, I finally got them pierced. And my nan very graphically and with a certain amount of exaggeration, I have to say, told everybody in a cafe how I was like, I'd screamed the place down and made 30 people in the queue all go home and not get the ears pierced, and how I'd scared everyone. So yeah, that is the story of how I got my ears pierced when I was 7. Oh, and when I went back to school on this Monday morning, I was very proud and happy with them. I was like, yeah, look, I've got my ears pierced. And everybody was like, did it hurt? Did you cry? And I went, it absolutely hurt. I cried my eyes out. And yeah, I still don't like piercings. I don't mind tattoos. I have a couple of tattoos which I really enjoyed getting and I like them. But my piercings, yeah, I'm still a big softie when it comes to piercings. So I hope you like that little personal story. If you'd like more of them, please let me know in the comments. And that's it for now. I'm going to say goodbye. Same as usual, please leave me a like and a comment. Please subscribe, and thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon in the next video. Goodbye.